Hey there, Megan Jansen with Employee Wellness Solutions Network. I'm still on a mission in sharing the message of employee and corporate health in our workplaces here in Canada. And I'm honored to be able to share a few minutes with a very busy gentleman, Craig Tilford. Craig, you're the owner of Stressed Out Solutions, a workplace mental health company. And it's mental health all over the place these days. We're talking about it in wellness. We're talking about it in programming. We're talking about it as a preventative measure to keep people at work. Programming that is really highlighting some very important tips and strategies. And I'd love to start. You're pretty passionate about this too. A few minutes of your time talking about how you have this passion and where it came from.
Well, I've actually struggled with mental health issues probably all my life. But in the process of working my way up into the corporate world and on international boards and so on and so forth, it would become harder and harder and harder. And ultimately, I finally crashed. And I thought, well, this is enough. I've got to do something about this. Took courses, discovered a thing called peer support, started helping other peers. And I thought, well, this is kind of fun. You can change people's lives in literally, less than half an hour. And I thought, well, I'd really like to do more than just one-on-one. I'd like to do hundreds of thousands. So then I started looking at how I could do that. With my corporate background, it was just made a lot of sense that it would be mental health in the workplace.
Amazing. And your passion certainly shines through in some of the work you're doing, some of the programming you're involved with. Share with me a little bit about that, and how do you think preventative measures could be adopted by workplaces in the realm of mental health programming?
Well, we do education all the time. We do that for the mind. We do in the wellness space, in the physical space. You're always doing exercising or eating right or sleeping or water, whatever it is. It's the same thing in the mental health. I mean, I suffered for decades, and I just didn't know what I didn't know. But then once I knew, and once I came out that I have this struggle, then the power came to me. And so in the workplace, it's tough because people think, I really don't want to come out. I don't want to ask for help. Well, that's okay. You don't necessarily have to do it at work, but you could do it with other places because there's lots of places you can go. But once you do come out, you become far more open to education, and that education just helps you in a whole bunch of different ways. I mean, everybody has a great day and a not so great day. And on those not so great days, do you accomplish as much? No, not so much. On those really great days, you're thinking, oh, this is awesome. I should go buy a lottery ticket. Well, we all have mental health. We all have physical health. And the mental health is just something that corporations are, the leaders are getting it, but we still need to have more and more people in the workspace getting it.
So what are the challenges, do you think, Craig, in adopting mental health programming within the workplace? What are the challenges you're seeing or hearing?
So let me start with the ones that aren't challenging. Let's start with the easy ones.
Yeah, okay.
The easy ones are the ones that have been affected by mental health and get it, as I call it. They just get it. Those are the companies that are just a slam dunk. Some of the companies that have a wellness program that are now hearing more and more about the mental health, and they start, I wouldn't say creeping, but they're expanding from wellness simply in the physical and cessation of smoking and so on and so forth, but they're getting into the mind. The other side, the negative side is there's the stigma. I have some major clients, and one of them, and I used to work for all these, not all of them, but a lot of the major companies, and they have so many projects going on that it's hard to get any traction. And the employees are just constantly dealing with change. Well, guess what? Mental health helps you with change. It can help you be resilient. It can help you to go faster and so on and so forth. So stigma's right up there, multiple projects. A third one is they think about the money. And the reality is that for every dollar you put into mental health, you get $2 back. And I'll tell you, if I could do that to my investment portfolio every year, I wouldn't be working.
Yeah.
So there's just three.
What are your thoughts on where this industry is going? Now, in the mental health space, there are reactive programs available for people who need it the most. We are finding that wellness platforms are coming in with more of a preventative play, health promotion focused programming. What do you feel what's the future for mental health in our workplaces, and specifically programming to help people stay well and stay at work?
Well, if the companies will look into it, they can look at the research and the statistics, and they can see the return on investment, or actually they call it an SROI, so the social return on investment, because some of the companies just do it because it's the right thing to do. Some of them do it because it's the money thing. Mm-hmm. Canadians are getting it. They're talking about it. 2011, Bell rolled out Let's Talk. Last year, after Let's Talk, or this year actually in March, Bell did another survey by Infographics. 87% of Canadians said they're far more aware of mental health than they were in 2011. So that's great. That's their stats. I was raising money for an organization called Defeat Depression, standing around in the LCBO with my hat out. Nobody carries cash anymore. So when I asked them for cash for Defeat Depression, they went and got it and came back and gave it to me. 80% of them. Wow. So Canadians are getting it. The corporations on the preventative side, if they want the information, go to my evidence tab. If you want to research it yourself, go for it. But it's like, your sales team. If your sales team needs a little improvement in motivation or something like that, you get some education. You bring in a speaker. It's just a matter of, we humans, we evolve as we learn things. So mental health, I think, is starting to go. I was just at an event last week of 1,200 sold out crowd, all corporate businesses. And so it's coming. Mm-hmm. It's got a ways to go, but it's coming.
Why, big loaded question, why should workplaces invest in mental health programming for their employees?
Easy. It's a big question, sure. There's two sides to it. There's the business and there's the people. From the business side, it just makes fiscal sense. A lot of people are using EAPs, which are great. The employee assistance plans are great. Unfortunately, the ones that have them in place, they don't use it as often as it could be used. And part of that is the mental challenge. So if I have a mental challenge, I need to realize I have it. And then when I have it, I need to take action. And if I take action, where do I go? And I need to know that. And so on the preventative side, if I can help people realize that this is what depression feels like, and you've felt this before and everybody has it. So the financial side, you're paying for stuff already, and the employees aren't using it as much as they probably could. On the financial side, if they're better, if they're on a scale of 1 to 10, if 10's being you're amazing and you want to buy a lottery ticket, if they're running at 8 and 9 and 10 all the time, they're going to be better. They're going to collaborate better. They're going to have better ideas. They're going to accomplish more. From the employees side, they go into an environment that they like to go into. If you can change the culture that everybody watches each other's back. If I come in one day and I say, Megan, look, I'm just not there today. I'm feeling, and we do this when we have a cold. I'll come in and I'll say, I got a cold, right? And you'll say, oh, okay, how you feeling? I said, well, I'm about 40% of power. Well, the same with mental health. And I can turn to you and we're going out to, say, a sales call and say, Megan, I'm just a 4 today. And you say, Craig, not a problem. I got your back. Mm-hmm. And so you can do that. And then from the right thing to do, the employees go home and they have a better relationship with their partner. Mm-hmm. They have a better environment for kids to grow up in. Mm-hmm. And that's both sides of it.
For sure, at work and at home. It's funny you mentioned, it reminded me of that number system. I do it with my kids every day. How was your day at school today? They're usually a 7 or an 8. I know that's a great day. If they're a 2 or a 3, we have to talk. So it's definitely a way to get further along than just, how was your day? Good. How you feeling today? Good. That's sort of like, we've heard it all along. But I love that number system and I used it at home. So thanks for reminding me about that. Craig, as we tie up our discussion today, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. If we could just get the message or get further adoption on the leaders in the workplace. The leaders who have been personally affected, they get it, and they're calling, and they're doing stuff about it. But the ones that are actually having mental health challenges and that their brains are ruminating about the next quarter's figures and all that other stuff, if they could just stop, take 3 deep breaths, get that parasympathetic nervous system telling your brain to relax, and to stop and think, where can I get more out of the existing resources I have, whether it's people or production or so on and so forth, without much more of an investment. We could get them to stop and think about it. We can show them the stats. So I just encourage those leaders that, just stop, breathe, and think about it. Focus on what can you do.
Awesome. Well said, Craig. Thank you so much for taking your time this morning and chatting with me about this very important topic. Thanks.